close to the roadside, so you might be hearing some bike noises from time to time. All right, but let us go. Now, Dr. Lamley, can you pray for us before we start?
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we give you thanks for your grace and your mercy and your goodness. Thank you for your blessing, and thank you, Lord, for having allowed your daughter to be able to share with your students. We know that they're having exam now, and sometimes it's a difficult time for them. But we know that whatever help they can get will help to propel them in the right direction so that they can excel. I pray that you'll be with your daughter now as she take over and as she give them these needful tips. I pray, Lord, that you'll anoint her so that the right recommendations can be given so that your children can be successful. Thank you, Lord, for hearing us. Be with our devices, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you. Okay, so I am presuming that everyone here probably has started 1 or 2 exams. You have done some exam before today?
Yes, miss.
Okay, good. So you have an idea of what the exam room is like. Now, I understand from Dr. Lamley that you'll be having English, is it English A tomorrow? Hello?
Yes, we're having it.
English A.
Yes, miss.
All right, so I'm not a teacher of English. I've taught English, but at the CSEC level, I've not taught English at the CSEC level. I'm really a geo specialist, but I have an idea of how the CSEC, the examiners, how they mark, right? Because I actually mark exam scripts, mark students subject for geo every year. I have 14 years experience marking CXC in that subject. So I have an idea of how what CXC, what CSEC looks for, what they look for in the exam from students. Now, for your English A, I presume that you have an understanding, you know the how many questions you'll be getting, do you?
4 of them, like we have 4 sections.
All right, so you
2
have 4 sections. And is it that all sections are compulsory?
No, miss.
Or so you have a choice?
What they said that we're supposed to follow the syllabus because it's in 2 sections, and section 1 to 8 questions we should follow up on for part A.
Okay, but you have an idea of what each section covers though?
Yes, miss.
All right, so I presume that you are prepared for that. I was doing a little reading up on the English A before I came on, and I realized that there are 4 questions you have to answer, and you have to write a summary, I think, and you have to do an exposition, meaning that you have to explain something, you have to write a story, and you have some persuasion thing to do. All right. No, I think at the beginning of the exam, we're talking about English A now. I think they give you a little time to plan. All right. I think on the paper you have a little planning area, so you make your quick notes as to what. Remember, this is English, and you have to be writing as the thoughts and the ideas come to you. But you need to plan it out. All right. So after you have read your question, plan out what you intend to do, right? That's at the beginning. Choose your vocabulary, right? Some of you might be very verbose, you know a lot of words, and then you will have to write because that's what the exam is about. The next thing is to time yourself. I know that students tend to, because there's a particular area or topic, we're not talking about English alone now. There's a particular topic that you have studied well, and you think you know it so well that you just want to write, and you don't realize that time is going. You need to time yourself So say, for example, it's a 2.5-hour paper and you have 4 questions to do. You divide that 2.5 hours into equal time. So you know that, for example, if each question is going to take you 40 minutes, you plan your answer and do your writing, try to finish within that 40 minutes. If you see that you're going into 1 hour and a question, stop and move on to the next question. That doesn't say that you're going to just stop abruptly and your story just end in mid-year, because I think you lose some marks for that. But you would have planned out what you intend to write, and then you use your time wisely and use up the 40 minutes for each question, right? You might know something very well, and you just think that you can't stop writing, but please, students, look at the question that is asked of you. And I'm talking now generally, not just for English, for subjects like biology, POB, accounts, whatever. Please read your questions carefully and underline the main parts of the question, what the question is asking you for. So say, for example, the question asks you to list 2 things or 2 factors. Don't go ahead and write out a sentence, a paragraph. It asks you to list, they expect you to list. 1, whatever the answer is. 2, you write your answer, all right? You're not going to get any marks to be writing a long paragraph and then the examiner has to be reading to figure out what you're saying. Just do what the question asks. If it asks you to discuss, you know that that is requiring some more talking, right? So you're going to some more details. And what you can use as a guide to in answering your questions, you notice how the paper is set up. Nowadays, you have space. They give you the actual space that they expect you to write your answer in, all right? So it means that you have a guide to say, well, this question does not require a lot of writing because based on the space, they don't expect me to write too much. But as long as you have studied and you know what you're about, you just use it up. What I've observed in my marking is that the students who tend to do very well, who get the marks quickly and easily, they don't do a lot of writing, you know. They just get to the point, write the answer, and within even 5 sentences, they get their full marks because they know the facts and they just write and the answers are there correct. While some other students write 2 pages and you search high and low and you cannot find a mark to give. So I would assume, students, that you have studied. As the little adage says, if you fail to prepare, you have prepared to fail. And I'm sure I'm not talking to students who have not prepared themselves, all right? Let's see, I have some pointers here. No, I presume that you and your teachers are good friends, so teachers are not unwilling to help you out. If you have a problem, if you are not understanding something that you think might be on the exam, call up your teacher and talk to your teacher. We are always willing to help because we want the best. We want our students to get the highest possible grade in the exam. I presume that you would have had past papers that you are working from. Have you? Hello? Do you have past papers that you have gone through?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so if you have gone through those past papers, well, English is tomorrow, so it might be too late now to be talking about past papers for the subjects for tomorrow. But for the exams that you have further down, probably in May and June, when you're using your past papers, you choose a question. Say, for example, there's a particular topic you have chosen that you know that if that question, if a question comes on that topic, you're going to do it. You choose a question and you write as if you are in the exam, under exam condition. So if you have studied, you identify a question that you think you don't want to answer, just sit down, have a quiet space. I presume that each of you have a quiet space in which you study. Write as if you're in an exam condition. And then example for definitions, you might have studied a definition or two, and you are testing yourself if you remember the definition. After you have studied, you write the definition. If you check back and you realize you have missed a word, you probably check back your textbook or your notebook, then you can do the necessary correction, all right? I spoke about timing before. And I'm talking now about when you're studying, going through past papers. Time yourself, right? So when the actual exam comes, you're already used to your timing. You know that you're going to do this in this time. Make sure you have a watch at the exam room. Usually have a clock in there. So you check to see if you are in time, right? If you're using your time wisely. The next thing that I expect every one of you should have been doing is to take care of yourself, all right? Rest. Don't just keep going. You would have made that study timetable, so you would have spaced out your subjects based on how it appears on your exam timetable. And you know that you have allotted or set this amount of time for this subject. You give yourself a break. But please do not just go and burn the wick of the lamp at both ends non-stop. Give yourself some rest, all right? And get a bath to get a fresh start when you want to move on.
And
students,
Sister, could I mention
question?
something?
Yes,
Yes. I noticed they have a tendency to want to go all night when the morning before, the night before the exam.
No, that's not a wise thing to do. That is why they should have made a timetable from long before exam time, and would have been doing what they need to do to get enough rest. And I know that some students tend to love sweet things. Keep away from sugar. Keep away from sweet things. All right, I know that my little medical missionaries here would be doing well in that light. You don't eat sweet stuff because the sweet is going to clog your brain. And then when you see the exam paper next day, you are so drowsy. All right, so keep away from sugar. And as I said before, talk to your teacher. They are there to help you. All right. When you go in the exam, pray and ask the Lord for understanding and to give you a retentive memory. Sometimes we think that, Lord, I don't, if this question come, or you might see a question, and you say, Lord, but I never prepared for this. The teacher never tell me that this is coming. But when you sit down and you read the question again, and you start to write, you say, all right, I don't have a choice, but I have to do 4 questions, even though I'm only seeing 3 on the paper that I studied for. I have to do this other one. So you just start writing and you'll be surprised. You pray, oh, the Lord bring back things to you. You start to write and it's like you cannot stop. I remember when I was at university, I had an experience like that. I went into the exam and there was a question that when I started the question, I never knew where to start. And I said, Lord, I have to answer this question. And so when I start, right, could I stop? I felt so joyful when I was writing that question. I ended up getting a very good grade on that paper. So don't doubt yourself, all right? Don't doubt yourself. The Lord will, and students, please don't think that there are so many subjects that we want to think that they are divorced from each other. They are not. There are some topics that you would have done in probably POB. And for those of you who probably might do some social studies or some geography or even accounts. There are many topics that are related across subject areas. So the information that you studied for even Let me choose a subject that seems well. Home and family, not home and family, some home type of subject, right? You might find that the same topic, some topics that you did in social studies, the information that you had studied or that you have gotten in that class, you can use the same information and answer your question. So don't think that certain subjects are divorced from each other, right? Many subjects are related. So you can just transfer your knowledge, all right? I think I touched on this before, but let me go back through it. Read your questions carefully after you have decided the questions that you will be doing, all right? You start making your little jottings, and there are some things that might come back to your memory. Just write it down, jot it down somewhere. The exam, you have the paper to use. You can ask for more paper if you need more paper, all right? Or ask for rough paper. I don't know how they do it now, if they give you a rough paper to make your little jottings on. But make sure when you read the question, you underline. If it says list 3, they mean list 3, all right? If it says describe, it means that you are talking about the thing as you would have seen it, right? Explain requires more writing. So you're going into details. When you're asked to explain something, it's like you're pretend that you're telling somebody, your little sister or your mother who doesn't know about the topic. You're explaining it to them so that they can understand, right? That is what they mean by explain, going into details, all right? Also, I'm talking now, I'm thinking based on the subject that I teach. The questions they tend to ask, if they explain 3, they usually have some words in the question in bold. So they have the word 3, explain 3 factors. They have the word 3 in bold. It means that they want you to explain 3 or to describe 3 things, all right? So don't go and write 5. Well, some students, they tend to write more than what is asked for, but how CXC mark is that they're going to mark the first things that they see. So if you have the first 3, and if they find some marks to give you out of that 3, but don't think that they are going to give you marks for all the 5, all right? They ask for 3, all right? So you underline all the important words in the exam, in the items that you're reading, the questions, and make sure you follow and answer it as is. That's for paper 2. Now for paper 1, students, please, paper 1, I have seen where students in regular test time in the class, they get 60 items, usually 60 items in CSEC for most subjects. We're talking about the multiple choice, the paper 1. Do not, for any reason, students leave out a multiple choice answer. It's best to guess, because CXC don't minus mark for wrong answer, right? So never go in an exam and leave out a multiple choice answer. If you don't know, it's best to guess. And usually there are items that you can eliminate. So there are some answers to some questions that are, that a particular one or 2 definitely out, because you have studied and you know the answer. So you choose the best answer. All right, but never ever leave out a multiple choice question. You don't lose marks for any wrong answer. Okay, any questions?
Miss, I have something. When it comes down to like subjects like POBs, paper 2 subjects that you have to write your own opinions on based on the knowledge that you know. How does the marking scheme go for that though? Because they have some answers that are technically right, but the way how it's explained is not up to par. So how does the marking go for that? Do you get like normally if you say you get 4 marks for that question, you're supposed to get there's 4 marks for that question, but the explanation is not right, you'd get like a mark 3, or do they give half marks in exam though?
No, well, for the subject that I teach, you don't give half marks. If the question value 3 marks, you get the 1, 2, or 3 marks based on what you write. But for questions that you have to express, give opinion, like it's not a fact, you're just discussing something based on what you think. As long as your argument is logical, because in such a question, there's no wrong or right answer. As long as you explain yourself and it's logical, you'll get your marks. Okay? So don't doubt yourself. Just be confident. Any other question? Farah, you're okay? Corey? Sasha Lee?
Yes, miss.
Okay. So are you ready for tomorrow?
Yes, I'm a
You
bit.
think you're ready for tomorrow?
Our mics are very, very distorted.
Am I the only, sorry, are there other parents online apart from Dr. Lamley? Is there another parent here or guardian?
And it seemed like it is, I see Sir Henry. I was thinking that that was a parent. But you know, some of the things I wanted the parents to be there also. Students, are your parents listening in?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yes, please.
All right. So
Just a word for parents. Just from an experience I've had, I'm going to ask the parents to know their children's timetable, your guard, your charge, or your ward, or your child. Please know their exam timetable. Are you aware for the parents, Dr. Lamley, are you aware of your daughter's timetable?
yes,
You know the subject
yes, I made a copy and keep it for myself.
That is the best thing to do. You know what happened to one of my students one year? I was so disappointed because normally what I do when the day for my exam, I go and I check if everyone is present for the exam. But sometimes when the exam starts, I might be at a class, I'm not able to check. As long as I'm free, I check to see that everybody is present. One year, what happened to this girl, she came to the exam in the afternoon when the exam went in the morning. She was so devastated.
Oh, man.
When I went to check after the exam to find out how they did, I understand that particular one was at the nurse. I said, what is she doing at the nurse? And they told me what happened. Because she turned up in the afternoon for a morning exam that was gone. So parents, please know your children's timetable and urge them. It's best that they are 1 hour early for the exam than a minute late.
Yeah.
Because they're more relaxed when they reach and they're on time and, gather their thoughts and all of that. But when you're rushing to start, it's not nice. So it's best to be at the exam center long before.
Yeah.
Yes, Doc?
That's what I do. I looked at her. So I keep looking at the timetable, see the days, see the time when the exams are. Another thing I want to remind maybe the parents who are there are listening. If the parents are not there, then student, you can remember that for yourself. Look at what you're going to be eating before you go to exam. I heard Mrs. French talk about the sugary thing. Sugar clogged your brain. It gives you a high, but it will let you down low, and then you'll find yourself wanting to sleep, or you feel so drowsy and fatigued, and it affects your memory. So like tonight, you don't take anything that has sugar in it, and tomorrow morning, don't take sugary juice because it's going to affect you. And make sure you're not hungry. Sometimes there might be so nervous about the exam that they become very they don't want to eat anything. And as long as that is happening, your blood sugar level is going to drop low, and therefore it's going to bring in fatigue. You can't remember what you have studied. All right. So make sure that you have something. It doesn't have to be something heavy, right? It can be some person will have maybe cornflakes, fruits, and if you're having some cornflakes or something, or you can have a cooked meal, just as long as you have it like 2 hours before your exam time. All right, you can do that. And for those who think they are not prepared and therefore they are planning on the night business, setting up to do the all-nighter, don't do that. Don't ever do all-nighter before an exam. Yes, it really does affect.
I would presume that the students who are in my hearing were present. They would have been studying. They would have had a timetable, a study timetable, long before exam start. I know that there are some subjects that are way down, so probably when they got their timetable, they will realize that, oh, well, bio is way down towards the end of June, so I don't have to focus on bio right now. So as long as you time yourself, because based on how the subjects appear on your timetable, then you're going to try to focus more on the ones that you're getting earlier, subjects that come earlier. But just time yourself and space out your study time, right? Check the topics you already know. Just check the topics you already know, because there are some topics some students are very versed on. If a question come on that, sure, no go butter that, all right? So you check, you have an idea of the topics that you already know, then you review the most difficult topics first, all right? So there might be a topic that you're not getting, some concepts. Those are the ones that you're going to review that are most difficult. You review them first. So you read from your notebook, your other test papers that you might have done. Read for your concepts, your definition, read summaries. For like in your textbook, a few textbooks might have a summary at the end of the chapter about what the chapter is about. You just go through the summaries and that will help. And what you can do too, for those of you who have siblings or even your parents or your friends, try to explain what you have read to them. So if, for example, you studied something and you're trying to remember to see if you know, just call your parent attention or your friend or your brother, your sister, and explain it. That will help it to stick in your brain, all right? And you would have had your study cards that you use mnemonic devices, like you write some words in capitals. You say the F stand for that, the A stand for that, C for that, T for that. So if it's in for definition, you can use mnemonics. You can use mnemonics to remember a list of things that you might be asked to list, factors or things that influence something. You can use mnemonic devices. They will help. All right.
All right.
If what I'll do, because there, I don't know if you have gone online to look at, because some teachers would have had helps online as to how to study for exam. I don't know if anyone here has gone online to look at those things where teachers give ideas as to how to help you, study tips and so on. Have you anyone checked those?
Yes,
Hello?
miss. Yes, miss.
All right. Before I came on, there's a teacher was giving some tips, I think, for the English A. I don't know if you have gone to it, but I'll send it. I'll send it on this link when I'm through. All right, so you can go back through it, because she was giving some details as to how you answer the questions for the different sections, the number of words that is required for the answer, and how you go about answering. So I'll forward that in the group.
All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much. All right. And everybody's comfortable with that? Anybody have all your questions were answered? and you're ready to work out your POB questions now, because we're going to be doing that. All right.
Okay.
I think they should be fine, along with what you will send for us.
Yeah, man, I'll send what I can. What are the main subjects that they have? The ones who are present here now. What are the other subjects you have to do? Because I could find some things and send related to those subjects.
I know that they're doing English and POB tomorrow, and on Wednesday it will be maths. All right, and after that I know that Monday it will be bio. Trying to remember them out of my head. Yeah, that much I keep in mind.
Any student here does geo? Because geo is my subject, you know. I'd love to help a geo student. Any
Oh,
student online now does geo?
doesn't seem so. I love POBs. I love to help them do their POB.
Oh, principles of business.
Yeah, that's my specialty. That and bio and English language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
All right. So we will be working out some bio. No, the POB.
POB.
Right now, right. We're going to be working a paper. So I want to thank you so much for having been with us and for helping them on so short notice. And I know that it has been beneficial for our students.
But if you need any help at any other time, you can just link me and let me know.
All right.
I'll be marking this year too. I think marking starts in, marking I'm marking geo paper this year. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'll send what I can on to this. Who should I send it to? Your WhatsApp?
Send it to my WhatsApp, because then I can share it with them.
Yeah, you can forward it to them. All right.
All right, Mr. Friend. Thank you so very much.
All right, so take care. Remember, students, pray and ask the Lord to bring back to your memory what you have studied, and just be confident, and you'll be getting the ones. All right. I presume and hope that everybody has done your SBAs, because if you have not done your SBA, don't bother to go to the exam because you already failed. I'm telling you that. If you never submit an SBA for your subjects that you were registered for, it doesn't make sense you go and sit the exam. So I presume that everyone did their SBAs and did their best, and you got the best possible mark that you could for the SBAs. All right.
Okay. So there's a set grade for SBAs?
Yeah, man. The SBA is usually 20% of the total marks. So like for geo, it's marked out of 40. So 40 for the SBA, 20 or 60 multiple choice items, and the paper tool. So it's the 3 papers together add up to give them the grade.
On average. Okay.
But if they did a good SBA, they are more confident to get a 1 in the paper 2 and the multiple choice.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
All right, let us going to pray to close. One of my students, one of you guys, pray to close us up. Those, I guess, the rest of you will be joining us with Naira to do the paper. Who want to pray? I need to see one of you young ones pray for us to close off. And to thank Mrs. French. Ashley, go ahead. Something is wrong with. Okay. Something is wrong.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sasha.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the students of me. Thank you for each and every one of us on this Zoom, dear God. Dear God, as we reach to the end of our destination, where we sit our test, theory, and English tomorrow, dear God, help us to remember everything that we have studied, dear God. Help us to not be shaken and anxious by what we see, dear God. Help us to analyze each question and to reason it out so that we can put a suitable answer on the paper, dear God. In your precious name, I pray.
Amen. All right. Have a good night and please sleep well. get enough rest to get up in the morning and go to your exam, all right?
All right.
And
Thank you
all the
so
best.
much.
I know you are all going to do very well.
Oh, they are. They are children of God.
Yes,
They will excel.
yes. All
All
right.
right.
So I'll forward the thing to your WhatsApp, Dr.
To my
Lam.
WhatsApp. Yeah, and I'll share it with the group. All
Something
right.
about him. All right.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so this is a POB past paper that we'll be looking at. All right, go back down to the, all right, go back to the first part now. But now, right there. No, where the first box is. Yeah, put it right. All right, this is very crucial for you. You see this part? Very crucial. Read the following instructions carefully. Don't just get to the paper and start reading what is written there. All right? Read what the instruction is saying. So the first one, this paper consists of 5 questions. All right? This paper consists of 5, and they said you should do what? Answer all the questions. All right. So read the instruction. Don't take anything for granted. Don't believe that you know already. So therefore, you're just going to do what you think you know. Look at what is being offered to you. Write your answers in this space provided, right, in this answer booklet. All right. So the space is provided for your name. So make sure that that's where it is written. Do not write in the margins. The margins are for examiners, not for you. So do not write in the margin. All right. Don't overstep your boundary where that is concerned. You are advised to take some time to read through the paper and to plan your answers. All right. So if you see something, you can look at a question, and from looking at the question and you see what it is saying, you can start jotting down some answer. Naira and I were coming in, and I remember she said she wanted to remember the function of, I think what was it? Managerial function. I think she was looking at
It's management, yeah.
Right. And then she came up with an abbreviation for them, and it was pod
CCDM.
Yeah, pod CCDM. Well, it worked out nicely. All right, because that way you can remember. So if as you go in and you see a question like that and you do not want to forget that, you just jot that down on your paper quickly. All right. Sometimes they'll give you extra paper just so that you can write things. Okay. And you just jot down your thing. Or if you If you have on the examination paper, you can just look at the question. You can just quickly at that part of the question, you just jot down that formula so that you can go back to it. Okay. So read through your paper and plan your answers. If you need to rewrite any answer and there's not enough space to do so on the original paper, you must use the extra line paper provided at the back of this booklet. I know I'm saying this because I want you to remember to read. Don't just see the thing and run straight into your, look at what the instructions are saying. And that is what Mrs. French was saying. She's saying that sometimes she recognized that students don't read the instructions and therefore they go ahead and do what they want to do and they will lose marks for that. Very important. You must use the extra lined pages provided at the at the back of this booklet. Remember to draw a line through your original answers, right? So if you had answered something and then at the end of it, you recognize it was not the right thing that you did and you want to redo that, just put a line through that and then use the extra page at the back, write the section that you are looking at and the question, all right? And then put your correct answer, all right? If you use the extra pages, you must write the question numbers clearly in the box provided at the top of the extra page, and where relevant, include the question part beside the answer. So suppose it was section 1, question 2, and the error was 2A. All right, so you put the 2A beside it so that they can see that is the question that you're answering on that. Okay, if you just write question 2, when there are sections there, then you're going to be losing mark because they will not know what you're doing, what you're answering. All right, so it is very, very important for you to mention that. Hold on a minute, please. All right. So that's the instruction that is given. So let us go now into the other area. All right. So go back to the instruction of what this is saying, Naira. All right. So see what it said? Answer all the question. And here what is it asking you to do? It is asking you, well, you're the students, so you're the ones that are going to tell me. Let me see, Corey. It is what is the question asking you to do? Where's Corey? Or who else want to answer?
Miss, it is asking you to define.
All right. So if it is asking you to define, what is it really asking you for?
Explanations.
See, so this is what I want you to get right. If it's asking you to define, it is just for you to tell what the thing is. No explanation, no anything else, is just a definition. All right, a definition is just telling what a thing is. That's all it is. So you don't have to go through a long thing and say, and when this one, and when they set up this and this company, no, you don't have to get into that. Because, and look at the mark, it is only 4 marks. So therefore it is very specific at what it is asking you for. So you said, what is an enterprise? Right? You go with your definition for enterprise. All right. So from you, let me hear some answer. What is an enterprise? Put up your hands, those who want to give their definition. All right, Sir Henry, you can go ahead.
Enterprise business venture.
And enterprise is
Business venture.
a business venture. All right. The rest of you, what else would you say? Would you get 2 marks for that?
No, Miss.
What else would you have added to that?
Miss, I would have added that it's a legal entity for it to operate its own business.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? But come on, talk, because you're having it, you're doing this tomorrow. So tell me what it, and here, right now is no wrong and right answer. It's just tell me what you think. All right?
Miss,
Yeah.
it's a business entity owned by individuals.
A business entity owned by individual. Okay. All right, so we have heard about 3 different answers. Which of them? So put together, I want someone to put together now all that you have heard into one sentence, a very complete sentence.
Wait, we're talking about enterprise, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right, so what I say is an enterprise is the willingness to take like risks or undertake new venues for starting a business. Is the action of taking risks and doing things that are most likely not going to allow your business to succeed.
Miss,
Mm-hmm.
Miss, I will say an enterprise is a legal entity that that conducts the right for a business to be owned.
I said it again, Sasha.
Miss, I will say that it is a legal entity that gives a business its own, like for it to happen and for it to conduct on its own, for a business to conduct on its own.
All right. So an enterprise is a business venture. All right. It is a business venture. All right. With the intention of earning a profit. All right. Earning a profit or conducting its affair in a legal manner. So you see the words that you are using? Fine and nice, as long as you can make it into a complete sentence. So you see, like who was the first person? Henry that mentioned it. They would have given maybe half of the mark because you didn't finish the complete sentence. But if you talk about it being a legal entity, and sometimes it does not necessarily have to be a very formal entity. All right, but it is that it is deliberate in what you set out to do with the business. All right. So as an enterprise, it is taking on an activity, all right, with the intention of conducting business affair or let me put it in a way that you guys can say it. All right. So it is an entity designed to conduct business affairs. That's one simple way. It might include risk, all right, and profits, all right. So you can expand it a little, okay. But Don't do like a one word, a 2-word thing and leave it at that, because in that way, you know, you don't get your full marks from it. All right. And because it is a simple thing, move on. Right? You say a little bit about it and your full sentence, and you move on immediately. Because if you take up a lot of time with it, considering the mark that you are getting, it will be wasting your time. No. I like this question specifically because it's taking two of almost the same thing. All right, very close. But so you are going to identify now what's the difference. You have enterprise and now you have entrepreneurship. Okay, what's the difference between the two? So give your definition of your enterprise, of your entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship is the owning of your own business.
Right. It is the ownership of a business, right? You taking on the responsibility of owning and operating a business. Right? And you can separate that. That is as simple as it gets. They didn't ask you to list or give an example or anything. All right. So taking on the risk and responsibility of owning a business. Okay. Simple put, and it is done. Okay. Okay, here's another. State 2 economic benefits and 2 social benefits of a business to the community in which it is located. All right, so what's the economic benefits? Think of any business that you want to, and just, and this is another thing that I would want you to remember. Some of the answers, they don't have to be textbook answers, they just have to make sense. You understand? You don't have to say, oh, I can't remember. What did I read in the book again? It just have to make common sense. All right, so 2 hands are up. You can go. Let's see who they are.
Contribute to economic
Contribute
economic
to the
growth.
economy. Uh-huh.
And national income.
Beautiful. Yes. All right, Sir Henry.
Well, it is a similar answer I was about to give.
All right. So, but because it said state, don't. It is a sentence you are going to be given. All right. Remember that it said state. It is not. You make a sentence with the words. So don't just put You can contribute to that and that. That is not list you're listing. You're stating. So you're going to say, what was the question? Let me look back at it. So it asks, business contribute to the economic growth of the country and for the national GDP or the national economy, or whatever your answer you're giving, you're going to say it just state it as a fact. All right. So it lead to economic growth and development. What are some of the social benefits?
Miss, they create jobs.
And that is the first thing. Right.
And it keeps the community and the organization involved.
Create a relationship, right? Yes, create a relationship between the business and because of the provision that it made for the citizen. Yes. So those are, see, there are 2 easy answers. And remember, it's 4 marks. One, when I'm doing POB, well, all through the years of helping others to do this subject, the first thing I say to them, glance quickly how much is the mark. Because you can sit down for a long time trying to figure out what it is that they're asking. How can I answer this question? Oh, what can I do? When you're 5 and 10 and all of that mark is somewhere there waiting on you. But you have wasted so much time with your 1 and 2 that I'm not saying they're not important, but the great emphasis that you're placing on them, you're taking up more time than necessary when the bigger fish is right there waiting. Okay? All right.
Miss,
Next question. Yeah.
but again, some of the answer again. So, economic
Yes.
benefits.
I'm your facilitators, and I'd like to hear from others. So she's asking, what were the benefit of the economic, what were the economic benefits of having a business in a community? No, take your mind to our community, any community, and think of a business that is inside of there. All right? Economically, how does it benefit the community?
Like to be a more. Miss.
I'm asking, since you asked the question, I'm asking your teammates now to help you out. Come others, let me hear your voices. You're getting this tomorrow. Gabriel, what do you think? Corey, where are you? John
Yes.
Brown? Let's hear some answers
Miss,
from you guys. Mm-hmm.
Miss for 2. Miss,
Yes, go ahead.
are you talking about identify 2 stakeholders?
No, which one you had asked about? You wanted to know the economic thing, right? That was what you said you
Oh, the
wanted?
economic
Yes, miss.
All right.
increase. So,
All right. So economic, you look at the economic benefits. When you think of economic, what you're thinking of?
The business, like the society.
Miss the public.
Public. When you think of
Mr.
economic,
Public.
no, economic have
Miss
to
the
do
growth of the business.
and the money. Economic have to do with money, supply and demand of goods. So it's actually boiled down to money part. How does the money part of it, or the monetary value that they will get from it? That's what it is asking you. All right.
Affordable housing, miss.
All right. So, well, one of the things that you do, the first thing that it will do, when you look at the question, stay to economic benefits and to social benefits of a business to the community in which it is located. No, it is important that you look at the question, and this is what I want you guys to get. Please remember this. Look at what the question is asking, because in not asking you for the economic benefits in society, it is asking you to the community in which it is located. So if you don't zero in on that part, you can get your question wrong. It provide jobs for the citizen inside of that community. It provides goods and services that might not be otherwise available. All right. So it cut down on cost of transportation to get the goods. So I can give you 4, and then you can just think of any 2 that you can use. One of the things
Miss create employment.
Beautiful. So that is one of the first things that you need to remember. All right. It create employment. It's money that you're talking about. So therefore, if it creates employment, what it's going to do? Social, as you say that, you know what I would have done? And this is how I look at exam. I don't zero in anything. I look at the broadcasting. If I say that it creates employment, one of the social benefits that you're going to get immediately is that you're going to have a higher standard of life because you're working, huh? All right. So
Yes,
you're
miss.
right. So the family structure would be better off because the funds provided can help to make the standard of living better for those who are employed. All right. So you can look at that. Just think think of anything. Don't try to remember so much a textbook answer, but think of it, because if you don't remember the textbook answer, it can make you panic and leave the question alone, or just write anything. But if you think outside of the box of the textbook and just think of any business, then you'll find that you can answer it a lot easier. Make sense?
Yes, miss.
All right. So social benefit, it is that the standard of life has increased, so therefore there's better relations between persons, right? Less idling on the street, more productivity, all right, within the community. All right. All right. Identify 2 stakeholders of a business and explain the role of each. Who is taking on that one?
The suppliers.
Okay.
The supplier.
All
right, so I have 3. So let me take you in order.
customer.
Abigail?
Yes, miss.
Yes, what was your answer?
The consumers.
The consumers. All
And
right.
the persons who are interested in the business.
No, you're doing business, so you can't call it persons interested in the business. You have to use economic words for the description.
Customers.
Right? So you have customers. After customer, or again?
And government.
Government. All right. So
Miss, this is sole trader.
What was the other one?
Sole trader.
No, that is a form of business.
That is a form.
Miss, you have the suppliers.
All right. So, and the question asks, say, of a business, and explain the role of each. So if you're going to take on those 3, what's the role of the customers?
Is to buy goods and services for their own personal wants and needs.
To satisfy, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. No. Who are suppliers?
Wholesale.
The people who provide raw materials
that
are needed for the production process.
So they supply the need of the consumers. So it can be supply for raw materials, it can semi-finished goods, it can be the services that are needed. All right. Any of that. All right. And I don't hear anybody talk about wholesaler. Did someone talk about wholesaler or retailers? Right.
It's the wholesaler.
Miss.
You can go ahead. I'm listening.
Wholesaler is a buys goods from the manufacturer and sell it back to the retailer.
Yeah, one of the things that you're going to, when you're answering question like that, if you look at a wholesaler in the business venture, then one of the things you have to look at the fact that he is the middleman. All right, he's part of the middleman chain because he's taking it from the manufacturer, all right, it can be to the consumer or to the retailer. All right. So he act as he said, just identify them. All right. And you just explain the role. So you identify. So if in the business, it can be well, someone is like, can we say environment? But how would you say environment in what sense? Ophelia, explain. Come on, guys, talk. Because they provide, so Ophelia said, because they provide hospitality. Well, it depends, depends on which industry you're looking at. Depends on the industry, because you're now going to be talking about the one that you want to talk. All right. So you will have to tell who are you, if you're looking at the supplier, if you're looking at the retailers, if you're looking at the wholesalers. So you identify and then you tell, all right, about them. All right. So they can be so they can be your, as you said, the customers, the suppliers. You can look at the community members. You can look at government, whichever three whichever two you want to identify. The important thing is that you must be able to tell. So if you say there are customers are the one who are the final user of the goods or services. All right, that is manufactured. Okay, simple put. Then if you move on and say wholesalers, you say wholesalers act as a middleman between the supplier and the retailer, whether or not the retailer selling smaller portion to the customer, or the customer are the final user. All right. Then you can look at maybe what was the other one I heard you said? Government role is a stakeholder, because it is government that set rules and regulations. I have a business and I have to look at what are the government rules concerning certain policies that I have in my business. All right. So you have to look at that. What is the role there? They are to set guidelines and regulations by which I conduct this business. All right. Say for example, you're not going to put the example in there, but I will just give you an example of how government is a stakeholder in your business. If I have a product in my business and there are two prices on it, do you know what the government regulation says? Anybody knows?
No.
Nobody knows? If you go into a store and you see two prices on one product, what do you think?
Miss.
What happened?
Miss, I think Miss I said that it was like one with one a discount. I think so. One was then the rice praise, the price raise, so them change it. So
yeah.
it was then 500, but now it's 630. They will do that, I think.
Yeah, but so how would that affect you now when you see the two prices?
Miss, it will affect us because we weren't aware of it. And so we have to come up with more funds to buy the goods.
Well, no, not according to the government. If in my business I have I have a product with two prices on it, according to government regulation, I have to sell you at the lower price. So suppose the price, say one of my staff was say pricing the thing, and the price was already on it for $5,000, but because this person was just pricing along, they accidentally put on a $500 label on it. By right, I am supposed to sell it for $500 as long as you take it up and take it there. Only, by conscience sake, if a person know that really and truly this could not be for $500, But legally, I'm supposed to sell you the goods at a lower price. So learn that you're doing POB, so you need to learn these little things, and it will apply. Yeah, Mrs. French was talking about things of application outside of the subject. That is something good for you to know. What are the regulations that govern your country?
Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Miss.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Miss, and that is also consumer rights.
Yeah, consumer. So that is, who is in charge of consumer rights in Jamaica? What is the organization?
Consumers Affairs.
Is the trade.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, so you need to know that. All right. Maybe another question will come along with something like that we'll talk about. All right. Naira, can we go to the other question, please? All right. So you notice some of the terms that have been used already: defined, state, explain. No, this one is saying describe. All right. Describe 2 challenges that a business could encounter when trying to satisfy its ethical role in a community. All right. Describe 2 challenges that a business could encounter when trying to satisfy its ethical role in a community.
Which persons are not qualified.
Mm-hmm.
Persons are not qualified for the business or something.
Yes, that it's a good point, you know, but no, because you're describing, you have to tell a little more about it. So what are you going to say about that?
They don't have like the qualifications, like
unqualified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So chances are the business might need skilled workers to conduct the business or to work in the business, but the persons don't have those necessary skills, and yet they come seeking employment, right? And the business is now forced into a situation. What do? Because you might be limited in the space that you have for unskilled workers. Okay.
Please train them.
Yeah, you can train them, but that is going to be costly to you, and you don't know if they are willing to learn that part. So one of them it want to provide job in there, but it is in a dilemma because the pool from which it is taken it might be lacking. Another thing that someone just mentioned is money laundering. All right. When you're in the community, sometimes it is easier for them to try to, to take things. You might end up with a lot of loss, pilfering in your organization, because persons are in the community and some can throw this over fence and this one can hide this under that and everything like that. So even though the business want to help persons, they are met with these challenges. Another thing that can happen is that in some organization, you might say that 2 persons from one family should not be employed in the organization, like, a wife and husband or a brother and sister or something like that. And then because it is inside of the community, it's like you can't avoid it because the workers are related, so one way or the other. So a question like this now is something that you can think about and give a description, flesh it out. Because this question alone, this one worth 6 marks, so you'd have to flesh it out. And based on the page, it's not a 1 line or 2 line. You have a number of pages, of lines that you have to fill. All right. So make sure that you can talk around what you're saying. So like Ophelia would say, money laundering, you can't just write that and leave it because it didn't say list and it didn't just say state. It is still asking you to describe what it is that you're saying. And remember, it's 2 challenges that you're looking at, okay? And that part would conclude your 20 marks. Narrow? Okay. So you're on question 2 now, right? State 2 activities performed by each of the following managers. 2 activities that's under the marketing manager. What would have been 2 of them?
Miss?
Sales and promotion.
Yeah, that's it. And because it says stated, it didn't ask you for an explanation or anything. You just said sales, right? And in that you can say advertisement, right? And promotion. Maybe not sales manager might be responsible for the sales itself, but marketing is to advertise, let person know about your product. So you could have advertising and you can have promotion. All right. Or you can say prepare PRO, PRO material, or that would have been enough because it's 2 that you're doing. All right. What about the production manager? What would they be responsible for?
Miss, you will make sure that everything goes smoothly.
Everything is what?
Everything moves smoothly, that every product that they have, it reaches to the customer.
It's not the retail. Production is making of the thing. So what would it be? Beautiful. Ensure that there's raw material available for the production of the goods. That's one of them. All right.
Miss, where she just explained with us some
It's
more
quality
like
control.
productivity.
And what is the other one?
Quality control.
Quality control, production, he will be responsible. That is 2 beautiful ones. So quality control and the manufacturing of the goods and services. All right, good or services, whatever he's making. So that's a production manager. All right, he's responsible to see that the goods are made and the qualities are right. All right. So distinguish between the finance and human resources area of a business. How do you separate them? What is finance?
Deals with money, Miss?
Money.
Right.
Sales.
So it's a financial aspect. So the finance has to do with the financial aspect of the business, and this might remember I said distinguish. So when you are distinguishing between, so look at the word that's coming up again. When you distinguish between something, what you are going to be doing?
Find the difference.
Telling the difference between the 2. All right. So you're going to talk that finance has to do with the monetary or the fiscal policies and resources of the business. All right. And this could include maybe the assets. All right, the physical aspect or the fiscal assets of the business, while human resources have to do with the
training,
recruitment,
customer of
the training,
persons who want to come to the work.
Remember, it is in the business, so it has to do with them. Now, when you have human resources, remember that is talk about HR now, and HR. Yes. So HR, they're responsible for the human aspect of the business, providing the workers, the quality, the workers that the business, right? And this is done through recruitment. All right. So they're responsible for hiring and firing and all of those things. All right. So and doing the best fit for persons who need employment. So you're going to have the finance part that deals with the fiscal policies of providing the capital for the business and how the financial aspect of the business is taken care of, while the human resources has to be talk about the persons employed in the business. All right. So that's 2 different, and normally you don't have a HR manager be the financial manager. You'll end up in big trouble, because one tend to be very have to do with the accounting aspect, and the other one has to do with the people aspect. All right. So distinguish the two, know how to know which is which. All right. All right. So which is the word that we are using now? So we are looking at describe each of the following function of management. So this was the one that, what is delegating?
Miss,
Mhm.
Miss,
Go ahead, I'm hearing you.
Miss, delegating is where a person will point out responsibility for the workers to get done, like you giving them a particular task to do.
I don't know, that is true. That's layman talking. I need you to talk as a business person now because it's POB you're doing. So you're going to talk
Okay.
it, say it in a language of business.
Okay, delegating is where managers
Mhm.
gives their employees in the workplace work or tasks, small tasks to be done, to get done.
I kind of miss something. There are two words I'm expecting to in there when you talk about that. So let me hear. Let somebody else come.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Miss?
No, I delegate. When you delegate, all right. Oh, okay, let me give you a scenario and then maybe you can tell me what are the words. Say I am the manager of my company, right? But because I'm so busy, I have to ask somebody else to do something for me in the business. All right, what have I done?
To assign.
Negotiate.
That is one of the word. Yes, assigned.
Give him the authority.
Authority. Yes, that well, since you say authority, we still need my other word. Which is the other word?
The subordinate.
Is a R word. You empower the person and you give them responsibility, right? So these are words now that you're going to use. So it's assigning responsibility, or if you want to say empowering another person with responsibility for a certain aspect of the work, all right, passing on responsibility from management to another person. All right. So delegating is me letting go some of the power that is invested in me and give it to another person. So a job that I would have done, I will not be the one doing it. I pass it on to another person. So like something, say I have a client that I'm working with and I will have to call that person and see how they're doing. I delegate that responsibility to my nurse. And then the nurse knows that it will be that nurse responsibility because she was assigned this responsibility to call the persons and see. So anything that's going on, I'm going to ask her about you know, or if she had fulfilled her responsibility. All right, so it is a description you're giving. So you're talking about assigning responsibility or empowering another person with the responsibility of carrying out certain author or giving a person the authority to carry out certain responsibility in the business. All right, so this is management, having that power to pass on certain work to another person. All right. All right, what is motivating, which is one of the functions of management to motivate? What is motivating? Go ahead, Sasha.
Miss, motivating is giving a person a desire to be committed and more interested in their job to have a better work life.
I like that. I like that. But it doesn't sound very business. Don't sound in a business word. Yes, go ahead.
This is where workers are influenced to take action to get the task done.
Yeah, that sounds like a textbook. Yeah.
No, we studied that paper already.
Yeah, good. So so motivation is actually influencing workers to want to execute their duties in a which word should I put it? You know, some person that will do their work, but they feel they drag about it and
Yes, miss.
yeah,
Give
they're
them
not very happy
rewards,
to do it.
something for make them push to it.
Yeah, so you're influencing. So a manager must be able to influence. So when you're describing something, don't use by the same word that is there. So like what they have motivate. So let us say no, influence is ability to influence up his workers to carry out their responsibility in an amicable way. All right, or with energy or vitality or whichever word that you want to use as a description. But in essence, it must be showing a positive vibration. You understand? So that is motivation, influencing for achievement. Okay. All right. So what is now coordination?
Miss, making all the
Try. Remember I said there's no wrong and right thing. What if you don't get that? Just
getting various departments to work together in achieving same goal.
All right. All right. Go ahead. Let me hear some more. I need to hear everybody's voice, just what you think.
Coming together to achieve a goal.
But when you say it in a business way, I want you to sound very business-like. All right?
Miss, it is where the manager will ensure that the business, that the function at the business.
Because you're coordinating, remember, you're putting together. So this is where the manager is able, right, to take all the aspects, the various aspects of the business right, to uniting, you can say uniting the production of goods and service, or understanding of the role of the company, or to let them see the common good of the company, whichever. But remember, it's a business thing you're talking about. So ultimately, the whole idea is for them to work to coordinate. Well, we don't use coordinate because that's the words there. To be able to pull together as a team in achieving the mandate of the company, or the purpose of or the goal of the company. All right. So you should be able to pull all the various areas together. We must see that we are on the same side. All right. So say, for instance, I like to use workplaces. In our workplace, we have different departments. All right. So you have those that are in charge of this one, and that is in part. No, you should not see yourself that you are in advertising. So all you're concentrating on is advertising. The manager is supposed to let the person who is doing in production, right, have such a wonderful relationship with the person in advertising that he should sell the product to the quote unquote sell the product to that person, so that the person says, man, he's impressed with it, and he's in a better way now to think of how to set up an advertisement package for that product, because he has bought into the idea that you have given him. So each section, the finances must be seen to be of utmost importance. We want to ensure that we cut down on the amount of money that is spent, but at the same time, we want to get maximum output. All right. So all the various areas should be taken into consideration. And the manager now have a responsibility to ensure that all of that happens. All right. If he can't, then he's going to be a weak manager. All right. Okay. Make sense? Understand that? And
Yes,
look
miss.
now, you see, while you're doing that, there's something that you're now putting in your mind, because you are actually getting to understand that if somewhere down the line you might get a question about functions of manager, you can just scroll up back and, well, you're not scrolling, you look at your paper, and some of them are already there for you. You understand? So if they should ask the function of manager or something else, say they give you a scenario, you can draw back on that, say, as a manager, you should have been able to coordinate and motivate and, put in all of these fancy words right there. Okay. Explain one way in which management fulfills its responsibility to each of the following groups of persons. Customers. How does the manager fulfill its responsibility to the customer? And it's an explanation you're given.
Miss,
Yeah.
Miss, they will do Miss, they will perform a research concept. Miss, I see where I don't remember his name, and they will do questionnaires. Sorry, research to see what they would prefer.
Yeah, you can say that. See what it is that the customer would like, and seek to fulfill that desire or that demand. All right. Another thing that you can look at also, ensure that the item that you are selling, or the products that you are selling, are well labeled and have enough information so that it can be of value to the customer. Because sometimes you ever go someplace and they just give you something in just a little piece of paper written on it, and enough information is not given to tell you how you should use the product, where the product was made, and all of that. All right. So management, it is his responsibility to see to it that the department that is responsible give enough information about the product so that the persons who are buying it, your customers, can be aware, or they can be satisfied with what is being sold. Okay. And the other part now, what about the employees? What is management's responsibility to?
Miss,
Miss, yes,
they should ensure that all workers are trained in the particular area that they are doing.
Miss, to create a safe environment for workers.
Miss,
beautiful.
and also to maintain a good communication.
Yes. So, but remember, you are doing an explanation, so you can't just say the one line. When you do, you have to say it. So in this, what they would do is such and such and such and such, because it's an explanation you are giving. You understand? So if I say the employees, one of the main, my thing would have been ensure that employees are properly rewarded for the work that they are doing. In this way, then there would have been satisfaction among the employees, and more can be produced. It's an explanation. So you don't just tell a sentence and leave it. Explain your answer that you're giving. All right? I noticed that it gives you a little more mark, because you are doing a little more than just the state or list or other part of it. Okay? All right, so here we go now. Look at the difference. Look at this now. What you said you are to do. You are to list 3 examples of technology used by a business. All right, so each of you, give me one, Sasha. None for Sasha?
Yes? Computer?
Computer. Yeah, but what with computer? Tell me about a little of the technology. Excel, yes. All right, Excel. All right, so it's computer, but computer using Excel. What else you do?
To create financial statements at the financial account system, like if you're doing accounts. the trial balance.
So you have things like QuickBook. Yeah.
Yes,
You have
Miss Ann Jabbers. Miss Ann Jabbers.
Jobbers.
Cashbook.
Okay. Yes. You have computer aided design. That is in your textbook, CAD. All right. Computer aided design to show you how the things run and how things are outlined and things like that. All right. So you have so any of those, you can just list 3 of them. Okay. All right, and outline 2 ways in which technology may be used to enable.
Miss, can you hear about the list, please, Miss?
All right, come. Yeah, tell me, list them for me now. List about the 3.
Computer, financial account system, and financial account system.
That's 3 you give?
Miss, and printers.
Well, printers are end product itself. So I want you to go more into the computer part of it, because printer in itself can be used. We used to use printer even when we didn't have any all of these kind of technology that you have. So I would want you to look at something like the computer aided design. You get good marks for that. All right. And then you have things like your QuickBook. All right. You have as you had mentioned, Excel files. That would be very helpful. All right. You have, all right, outline 2 ways in which technology may be used to enable businesses to grow.
Yes. Miss, it can work done more effectively.
Miss, communication. No, information is reached quicker.
All right.
Yeah.
So what you can do, you outline it, you say like communication, and you say in this, because of technology, communication will move instantly, instant communication. So by like what? Emails,
Social
right?
media. Yes.
And yes, social media.
Advertisement and stuff for the business.
Yeah. So, but it's technology you're talking, so you have to use the things that are used in technology. All right. Because we used to have the advertisement before technology. All right. So those things that will help it to go. One of the things that you have e-commerce. E-commerce can be another part of your or you use technology. E-commerce help business to go nicely, in the sense that you don't have to go to a person, our persons don't have to come to you to buy the goods, or you don't have to go to them. They just do that online. You never have to meet face to face. All right. Never have to meet. Another one can be something like your for meetings. Persons can be scattered all over, and you have things like your Google Meet, you have Zoom, and these are 2 ways in which you can actually work like face to face. All right. So business decision can be made quicker. All right. Time is not lost. Decision that are made can affect business. All right. Quickly. So those are 2 that you could look at. Okay. List 3 functions of a small business.
It creates employment and opportunity for job.
Yes, does. And what else it does?
It has some of them have unlimited liability.
Not for the small business.
To make a profit.
Well, remember what you're looking at is not the characteristic, you're looking at the function. So function is what it does. And you're listening. So which was the other one?
They plan and they organize.
No, that is characteristic. One of the other.
Means it has to do with some marketing, some market something.
All right. No, the two that you had given before, those are correct. And another thing that it does, it provides goods and services easily to the customer. So like like some persons who live in some area, you can always go to a liquor shop there and just get the things easier. All right. You can, so therefore it function to get goods quicker than you have to go to find a big supermarket or a big this and buy things in bulk. You just run down to the corner shop and you get something quickly. All right. So that is another one. And remember, you're just listing them. All right. So it provide, and I like affiliate word, it provide niche marketing. All right. So that take care of that in no time. One mark, and it's one mark you get for each of them, you know. So yeah. One mark. Okay. State two challenges and two benefits associated with the growth of a business. All right. You know, this sounds like one that we have done up the top already. All right. So what are two of the challenges that you can get? And your answer is going to be near to the one that we have done at the top. What are two challenges that would come? And you're just stating them. What are two challenges that must associated with the growth of a business?
Miss, you're going to need more money because when the business becomes bigger, you need more resources. So you need to find funds, more funds to maintain the business.
That is a good one, but it doesn't sound very business. I want you to think, say it in a business sense. All right. To how to increase or how to source capital, additional capital for the growth of the business. All right. So that is one of them, the sourcing of capital. All right. So that might be one challenge. What is the other one? You see, when we talk about financial and HR, you can just use it back in this question. All right. You can finding the right persons or workers to fill the vacancies or to fill the
Can't find investors for the business with.
Finding investors to help to grow the business. So these can be challenges that are to growth. All right. Now, what are some of the benefits? First one, think money.
Increasing income.
Yeah, well, you're doing business, so you don't get income. What you get? You get what from business? If you do a business, you get right. It can lead to increase in. Yes, you can more. Yeah, and you know another thing, you are more exposed, so your business can be more recognized.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Financial independence.
Financial, yes, that is another one. Yeah. So out of that, you can find any two. All right. Just look at your business. You know that financially, you have financial growth there. You have staff expansion by getting additional workers. All right. You can be able to expand the business itself into other areas. You can also become more recognized as a business, that increase your goodwill. Yeah. Okay. All right. Explain two ways in which the growth of a business affects its organization. Yes.
Miss, two ways it can affect it. Miss, because when employees come inside the business and the business get bigger, we will need to assign them, like it will change the format of the business
because
we're gonna need more space.
Don't think of the structure have to mean a physical structure. It is
the organizational chart.
Beautiful. So it's an organizational chart because they might have the same space. But no, right. When it is expanding, what you'll have to do now?
Change up the
find more persons.
Yeah, but you see that word you just call organizational chart? You now have to change it because if more persons are there, then you have to,
target.
More
yeah,
people
no,
to pay and signals.
yeah, you have to go now tell persons, who is in charge of this, that, and then you have to get supervisor to be in charge
Yes,
of,
myself, make
of
them
it.
know the span of control and chain of command in my business.
Beautiful. All right. So that is one way. What another thing that can do? So two things, always go back to this and take this from me. Just work with it in your mind while you're doing this. Where POB is concerned, it is principle of business. There are two things that literally run your business. So any question that you're answering, mainly you can even go back to that, remembering these two things. Anybody know the two things that run our business? Anybody want to try? Just think there's no right answer. I'll tell you, but just tell me, what are the two things that run a person's business?
Miss, I can repeat.
What are the two things that run any organization, any business?
It's money
Capital and
and
resources.
employees.
Yeah, in other words, money and people. That's it. That's what run any organization. So if you get something like that and you just explain now about the people, all right, getting the organizational chart, you'll have to know, look at how persons are aligned, to best suit the growth of the business. But what is the other part now? Since you talk about the people already, what you talk about now?
The capital side of things.
The capital, right? The monetary part of it. All right. So this now is where you're going to look at how you arrange your fiscal policies, your financial area. Additional capital might be needed, and then because you're expanding, chances are you have to now look at getting bigger more computers or faster this the better speed, and you have to look at employing maybe more managers. All right. So it's more money being spent. Okay. So you look at that. Just think the money and think people. If you can have that in your mind at all times, money and people, you can literally write your way around the question. If you cannot remember the textbook definitions or answers. Okay. Define the term brand name.
Miss, Miss, the brand name is how a business will label their product that they will put on the market.
Tell me a brand name.
Miss, like Nike or
Grace Kennedy.
Grace. Alaska, right. Right. So that is the name of the brand. So brand name is a name that is given by to the company to identify them. Right. Okay. There's a brand that comes out of Canada. It is called No Name brand. That is the name of the brand, No Name. So I think they were trying to have no name, but it become known as No Name. So when you buy that brand, that's what it is called. All right. All right. Identify two forms of packaging.
Miss.
Two forms of packaging.
Bag.
Box, bag. How would you write that? I tell you, must think like business people,
Miss, like paper boxes and plastic boxes.
All right. When you're packaging, remember, look at who you're targeting.
Primary.
Okay.
Or you could primary packaging and secondary packaging.
What's the difference?
Primary packaging is a direct, like face to face.
Help for somebody.
Miss,
Mm-hmm.
something wrong with the answer?
No, you see, when one person give an answer, you need to ensure that someone else is there to to say, yeah, this is right, or no, you need a little more or something. I don't want one person talk and just is a one person saying it. No, I need you guys to know whether or not this is so, all right, or not. All right. Okay. So you're right, my dear. You have primary packaging, all right, and then you have your secondary. So primary is the one who come, all right, to the consumer, and secondary is what is packed for shipping, going out, all right, or other ways that it would have been used other ways, all right. So that is two. Now, what are the purposes now?
Secondary packaging.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah.
Only the purpose is to ensure that the products that are inside are not damaged.
One.
And second is
To make the goods reach safely.
Same thing with the damage.
I see.
it's the identification.
Miss that.
And then what?
Miss. Miss, another purpose of packaging is
For I see a stranger and I've not seen up. So let's take Clive.
all right. So one purpose of packaging is to make sure that the item inside the box is not tampered with.
Yes, one purpose is to ensure that the item
is not tampered, is not stolen or none of that.
is not stolen. All right. I was going to
Miss.
Yeah.
Miss, can one be to get your the message across or something like that, Miss? Say for instance, me I promote something, right, Miss? And you want to know like if it's a good quality or something. So I send you one and make you see me, Miss, see it for yourself and thing. So probably like get the message across or no.
All right.
Something like that.
Put it like this. Remember, you're looking at the purposes. When you go, when you buy, why let me see, why does national brand, why does it package its bread?
To identify the
So right away you have two reasons why. What are the two reasons? Just look at a loaf of bread. What are two reasons why purposes why it's packaged?
Miss, to make sure that the food inside is good.
Miss for safety
No. Wait, I can only hear one of you at a time. So the first thing is to ensure that what?
Miss, the product inside is protected.
Is this right? It's safe, right? Right, it is protected. And the other thing that it does is what? Another reason why
identification of the product.
To identify it, right? To advertise the product, right? To show its brand, that way. All right. So the whole purpose of it, to ensure that it is protected and to ensure that it can be readily identified. Okay. Yes. Yeah. That is two nice reasons. You just have those put them down right there on the paper. All right. Describe two techniques used in selling.
persuasive.
Which one?
Persuasive or persuading.
I didn't hear my say it again. Let me hear. Let me.
Miss Persuasive.
Go ahead. Go on. Describe two techniques using it. You're not telling me a word, you know, you're giving me a description.
Okay, miss. Persuading or persuading
What is the word? Call the word properly if you're going to spell it right.
Persuasive.
Persuasive. Yes. I know to spell it. Yes. But don't stop there. It is a description you're giving. You're giving now. So tell me.
Like persuading the customers to buy the goods and the services.
How do you persuade?
Talk highly of a good or goods.
Mm-hmm. Persuasive selling, yeah. And what again?
Miss, they can also use their terms, so charismatic.
Yes, ma'am.
Not one word. One word don't give you your 2 marks.
Sorry, miss. They use their terms to persuade persons to buy from goods and services.
But that would be taking you back. That would be taking you back into say persuasive again. You get that one part already. This is where they show the attractiveness of the product so that persons can buy it. So
Miss, what about free sampling?
Sampling is another.
Some people love taste things before them buy it.
Yeah, so if you go to PriceSmart, you'll always see companies there that are giving you things to sample. So sampling is another way, is another technique for selling. Right? No.
The packaging, miss.
Packaging is also good at doing that. But remember what you're doing also. Where packaging is concerned, no, you have to tell. You can't just say packaging. What would you say about it? Because you're doing a descriptive thing right here. What would you say about the packaging?
The packaging is eye-catching, miss. Like, it draws attention, miss.
That is true. So look here. Look at like Mother's Day. You see that they don't just sell you a lotion or a perfume, and they put these nice little packages together, and they put the little bow and the little thing, and you know it looks so attractive. You want to buy one. All right. So you have to give a description. Remember, I really want you guys to remember the kind of words that are used. So don't just give if it said describe, don't just give a word. You have to give description. If it said define, then you have to tell what it means. If it said outline, then you just show, right? You show outline it. Outline is saying that where they could do this and that and that and that and that and that. That's outline. If it's a list, then that is where you say packaging, that, and give your one word. Okay? Very important for you to remember that. Okay. Next one. State 2 methods. Go on. State 2 methods which vendors can employ to promote sales. 2 methods they can use.
One, through fundraisers.
They can do what?
Through fundraisers.
Well, outline. Go ahead.
Just buy one, get one free.
Yeah,
buy
you can,
free.
that is true. So you have promotional gimmicks. You understand? Yeah, so you can have, and as what like Payless would have what they call BOGO, buy one get one at half price. Yeah. What is it? Or
Miss Adam,
Yes, I'm buying.
Taste and buy for Guinea, yes.
As Ophelia says.
No, miss, what about customer appreciation?
Yes, that is also true. Customer
Vendors.
appreciation. Which one?
Mr. Vendors, they say.
Then the vendors have
Customer.
that. Yeah, remember, what are some of the things that the vendors can do to promote the sales? So they can have an appreciation. We have sometimes in our business, we go out. So this is another thing that happened. We go out and we do presentations, telling person about the health benefits of things and how they are to use them. And we do cooking demonstration to show them how to use the product. All right. Yes, grand opening. Yes, that is also good. So you can show persons. And one of the things that you want to do is create a need. If you create a need in person, then your product will sell. All right. Yes, Clive?
Miss, one way they could, for example, Miss, if they're selling fruits, they could like set it up a way so it look attractive, like make you want bite, and the fruits and put the good one them up front. And another way them can do is like give discount on certain items.
Yes, that is true, and that is another way of doing it, and it goes for a lot of products. Look at a person who's selling like a little fruit plate, and they arrange the things in there, and they give you a little of this. Not that I encourage those are not the healthiest of things to do, but they do make it attractive so that you'd want to buy it. Another thing that you can do is ease of reference, in the sense that you make it easier for persons to want to buy. If a person passing and see a bag of cane selling, the easier to buy than go buy a piece of cane to carry them to peel. Isn't that so? All right. So it must be, Sasha, a pleasing or appealing. Vision. But either be pleasing or appealing, one of them. All right. Okay. Let's move on. You guys are doing well. I'm sure you do well on your test. The thing is, as I've said to Naira all the time, POB is literally a thinking subject, right? You can take yourself into the realm of work. You're a consumer, you buy things, you're out there, you see how business operate. All right, so you can take yourself out there. Just go back in your mind and look at any organization that you want to, all right, and you will see how you can answer the question. All right, explain 2 ways in which the existence of copyright is likely to influence the actions of producers and consumers. 2 ways. You know what is copyright?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How is it likely to influence a person?
Miss, like, oh, me who own the copyright or somebody who
Both ends, Miss, are just from one standpoint.
Yeah, man, it's to both, because you always say influence the action of producers and consumer. So it's 2 persons. How can it influence the producer?
Yes, there will be.
Miss, to be careful on how them like take people goods and use it for themselves.
No, but that would have been the consumer. All right. So
the producer, the person who own it, though, Miss.
Right. So it said explain 2 ways in which the existence of is likely, because the producer know that he's protected. One way is that he can more freely produce more of the good. Right. Yes. Because he doesn't have to be afraid that somebody is going to take. So he give him more freedom to produce more of that product. That is one of them. He's also more likely to benefit from the sale of the product, because persons would have to buy it from him, right? Yes. So, what about the consumer now?
Yes, they would be more careful about, like, like just taking it, because they know say it come with consequences and stuff, Miss. So they would be more careful.
Right. So there's less likelihood of having what you call bootlegging of that product, because they know that there's some legal implication for them. All right. So for more of the goods can be produced by that person because of the protection of the copyright, and my good Ophelia just put it in because of intellectual property right, you know, so therefore they are covered. All right, that is one. Consumers will not be so easily led to use the material because of the legal consequences that's attached to it. Okay. All right. Define the term standard of living. What is standard of living? Just defining the term.
Means like the cost and the cost of living, but like more like for like I don't know.
No man, just think of it. The standard of living.
Have to do with the country wealth.
Come on, you're doing a definition, so get some more into that. So it's a level well, I don't want to put quality of life here now because it is down your next section, but it is a level of existence that is made available to the citizens of our country based on the GDP, all right, the government intervention in that person or in the country's welfare. All right. Okay, so it is the way that you live, or you are able to live, the standard that you are able to live based on the availability of resources to you. All right, the way that you are able. Ophelia, type in one, you know. Okay. Okay, say 3 factors that can be used to determine your quality of life. What are some factors that can determine your quality of life? 3 factors.
Much income you make, where you live.
Income, yes. What's the other one?
Status.
Your housing.
Housing.
Yes, yes. And your community.
Your community can have, but it's not the first one that I would want to get to, really.
Yeah.
You understand?
Miss, I struggle, man. I show my
Yeah. So your quality of life, well, the first 3 I would have looked at. All right. You're going to look at your income level. You're going to look at your educational level. All right. And you're going to look at housing is a good one. All right. So that now it can help. Now, if you look at now the standard of living, what are some of the things that can affect it? All right. The government policies are government policies that can affect your standard of living, in the sense that if you are working a year, the production of goods and service. So look at take a country that is
Inflation.
Inflation would come under the government policies, right? Because government have a lot to do with your inflation. All right. So your standard.
What about income? So what about the income, the money you earn?
Yeah, but there's some when you come to the standard of living now, that is mostly the difference between the two. Just the quality of life has to do with you. Standard of living have a lot to do with what the government thinks. All right. So you remember you talk about the communities and that would be how is it that they are structured, all right? Are they such that you can enjoy being outside, or if you have are your local facilities, are they in place? What are your infrastructures? That government, your infrastructure will determine the standard of your living. What are some of the infrastructure that government would have to put in place? You know what is infrastructure?
Miss,
It's automobile.
Infrastructure
road,
is
miss.
right. Road. What else?
Um,
Bridges.
Well, bridges.
Health
Where did it come
centers,
with roads? That would come with roads.
oh,
health
um,
centers,
Your hospitals. Yeah.
and
And what else? So it's your infrastructure have to do with those things that government has to provide for you so that your standard of living can improve. If said you don't have any good hospital, they are all run down, right? Then you're just going to be poor. The standard of living in the country is going to be really poor, right?
police station too, miss. And
Right.
fire
Police
departments
station,
and stuff.
right. So those kind of
institutions, for example,
right.
schools.
Governmental institutions, right? And the kind of schools that are available. Okay, so that is that. All right, let's take I think that should be the last page, I think. Describe 2 programs that ministries of education could put in place to foster economic growth and development. What are 2 programs you think they could put in place? All right, let me tell you 2. All right.
It's an essay programs, I mean.
What are some of the things that they can do to help the country to grow? Ministry of Education, that's what I mean. That what forget the word program, just 2 things that they can do.
Reduce crime so more kids can be available.
No,
to
you're
go
looking
to
at
school.
Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education don't do crime.
Miss Art.
How does heart help?
Sorry, so person go to art to to learn a skill in a different areas, like for engineering, auto
Okay.
mechanical,
So you are looking now at
cooking and
vocational.
those stuff.
No, but you're talking you talk the POB language. So you're talking about vocational centers. All right. They can use that. They can put in vocational centers or schools so that those who are persons can learn skills. That is one program that they can use. What is another one? Another one is that they could make education free up to a certain level. By right, education is supposed to be free up to a certain level, but the amount of fees that they charge is like you're really paying school fee in the public schools. All right. So, but those are 2 good things that they could have done. Make education free, say up to secondary level, and put in vocational schools that persons can learn skills. Those are 2 policies that they could use. All right. And this, I think, is your last question. Go down a little more so that I can see the question. Identify 2 methods that are used to measure a country's national income and explain how each method is used. All right, so I don't think most of you guys look at government. Have you looked at government? It's important for you to look at that area. Just run over it.
Partly, miss. If we do it like, because some of us do social studies, so no.
Right. So you see, it's spill over into this now. Yeah. All right. What are 2 methods that you can use to measure a country's economic status?
Per capita income.
Beautiful. Yes.
To see who was like employed, who can be employed and so on.
The labor force.
The labor force, yes. See, that's the language I want you guys to use. So you use per capita income and you use the labor force. Those are 2 wonderful ones. And you just talk a little about what it means. Per capita income is looking at how much each person earn, what is the base amount, All right, that it and when it talk about that, talk about how much it is that a person has to earn to be able to feed themselves in a day. All right, feed a family in a day. And then you have the labor force, how educated or uneducated the population is. It will tell you how the money of the country is spent. All right. You can also look at the country's foreign exchange. Also, that is another thing that you can look at. And you can also look at is international trade. Okay. So those are some of the things that you can use. All right. And I think that would have completed your paper. Now, if you guys had answered like that as you are, you would have passed your exam. Some of them, their language not so nice in using your economic or your economic terms. So brush up a little on that. Right? Don't just you say, yeah, they could buy some things. And no, there are languages that goes with business. And you want to try and use up those kind of language in your business when you talk. All right? Okay. So that is that for this evening. I think I'm arranging for you guys to have a maths class tomorrow evening after. Well, maybe your teacher will be having maths class with you. So if not, then we'll look at that. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. It was a blessing be with you.
Yes, yes. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Well, let me pray for you guys
Thank you,
for your
Miss.
exam. I pray for you first.
Okay.
All right, let's pray. Our loving, holy, righteous, and eternal Father in heaven, hallowed be your precious name. We give you all the glory and all the praise, Lord, for your wonderful children. You have blessed them. You have kept them alive. You have been with them through all the hardship that take them up to this time. And Father, as they prepare for these exams tomorrow, I pray that your Holy Spirit will be with them. I pray that you will bring back to their remembrance things that they have studied and where it calls for wisdom, where they can think and reason. I pray, Heavenly Father, that you'll be their divine guide. I pray, Lord, that you'll keep them from all harm and danger, that they'll have a good night's rest, and that they will be ready, mentally prepared tomorrow to go and sit in that exam. I pray, Father, that you'll watch over them, and at the end of it, may they come on successful and know that you have been with them. Take full control now, Lord, and may everything be done to your name, Son, and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. God be with you all. Take care. Yeah, bye-bye.
Yes.
How you feel, yeah? You're not muted.